Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about how to create a timeless wardrobe without it becoming really boring. I recently read the statement that classic or timeless implies a design that's always on trend, and I love that because I think way too often we get caught up in what's on trend, what's out of trend. And when we do that, we can often find ourselves having cultivated a closet that feels overwhelming. It probably got really expensive along the way. And most importantly, you can often find yourself looking into your closet and thinking, this doesn't even feel like me. So today we're going to talk about 5 elements to really lean into when it comes to developing your own timeless style and wardrobe. This is such an easy place to start. It literally consists of you just looking at your closet and thinking about what you see. Are there more neutrals or bold colors? Are there more solids or patterns? Are you seeing a vibe that leans more towards the romantic or more towards the minimal? And understand too that this can vary season by season. In my own closet, I definitely tend to embrace neutral colors year-round, but in the summertime, I definitely dress more towards what I like to call modern feminine. And in the wintertime, it's more about utilitarian, very minimal, and also deeply rooted in athleisure and comfort. So when you look into your own closet, you will very quickly start to see a reoccurring theme. So if you're staring at your clothes and you feel excited about what you see, if every day you wake up and you look forward to putting together an outfit, you feel inspired by what you're wearing, that's a great sign that you are on the right track. However, if you look into your closet and you feel underwhelmed, uninspired, that's probably a good sign that it is time to switch gears. Remember, cohesion never means that everything in your closet has to look the same. All it means is that when you do add variety to your closet, it still complements the other things in your wardrobe really, really well. Because remember, cohesion is all about just striking that perfect balance, like adding in a little bit of tension and contrast so that your outfits look interesting, but you don't find yourself in a situation where everything you are wearing from head to toe is screaming for attention. Oh my goodness, our surroundings can have such a huge influence on what we add to our closets. So think about it this way. Do you live in a busy metropolitan area where life is go, go, go? Or do you live in a more rural area where life is very peaceful and also very quiet? I can tell you my own closet when I lived in the city was kind of chaotic because there was a lot thrown in there. And that made sense because in a city environment, it's kind of chaotic. Like there's a lot that's thrown into the mix. Versus now, my husband and I live very rurally. We are in the mountains. We are in the middle of the national forest. And life just moves at a much slower pace here. It is very peaceful here. It's very quiet. And I'm noticing my closet is definitely starting to reflect that. In fact, really from the minute we moved here, I noticed I was more drawn to softer neutral colors, softer fibers, softer silhouettes. Like everything just started becoming more organic, both in the look and the feel. And again, that's something that makes sense because everything I look at every single day is organic because there's very few things around us that are man-made. So as you are looking to develop a timeless style, when you start paying attention to your surroundings, sometimes you can find that it's really beneficial to just lean into what you're surrounded by. But other times, there might be an opportunity to push back a little. So for example, if you do live in the city and it's very loud and it's chaotic and that's kind of unsettling to you, What might be a great option for you is to scale back with your wardrobe, lean into those natural fibers, into more neutral colors, softer tones, softer silhouettes, clothing that drapes over your body instead of clinging to it. And conversely, if you live in a more rural area and the quiet is just starting to make you crazy, that might be your opportunity to add more bolder colors and patterns to your own closet to add that beautiful contrast into your life. No big surprise to any of you that I'm adding this in there. For those of you that are new to my channel, I have eliminated all synthetics out of my closet in favor of natural fibers. So cotton, organic cotton, linen, silk, cashmere, genuine leather, and raffia are definitely my happy places. And again, this is something that just makes total sense for my lifestyle. I mentioned that we live rurally. Everything I'm looking at is natural, and I just want my wardrobe to reflect that. But also keep in mind that there are pros to synthetics, mainly when it comes to the care of that type of clothing. Most synthetics you can just throw in the washing machine, you can throw them in the dryer, you don't really need to worry about steaming or ironing them. Versus natural fibers, as gorgeous as they are and as luxe as they feel on the body, they are extremely high maintenance. 99% of everything is put on the delicate cycle in the washing machine, or I do have to hand wash it. I also really do not put anything in the dryer. Everything is hung to dry, and then everything requires some attention afterwards in terms of needing to be steamed or ironed. Now, for me, that makes sense. I work from home. My schedule is super flexible. And I also don't have little kids running around my house. So when thinking about, okay, if I see a piece of clothing, it's a natural fiber, it's a synthetic, do I want to add it to my wardrobe? Just be realistic and honest with yourself as to whether or not that piece of clothing makes sense for your lifestyle. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of pointless to put the time, effort, and money into developing a wardrobe and a sense of style that feels timeless to you if at the end of the day, that clothing is just going to make you miserable. So first and foremost, when you put on a piece of clothing, think about how it makes you feel, both physically and also literally. I am asked all the time why I only wear natural fiber clothing, and I can remember distinctly when we were still living in the city. I had this beautiful neutral colored sweater. It was like that thick, chunky knit that you love wearing in the colder weather. But I started to notice that every single time I put it on, I would get really fidgety. My skin would start to itch like crazy, and it would literally put me in the worst mood. And then one day I just happened to look at the tag and I noticed that sweater was made from synthetic fibers. So I literally went through the rest of my sweaters and I noticed the ones I was wearing on repeat were all cotton. The ones that I would put on for like an hour and then be miserable were all made from synthetics. So from there, I just kind of used it as a springboard, as a guide to the types of clothing I began to eliminate from my closet versus what I started bringing in, right? So it didn't matter what season it was. I knew I just wanted to concentrate on natural fibers because they felt so amazing on my skin. And it was a guarantee that it wasn't going to irritate my skin either. But details also include the way a piece of clothing fits, right? So ask yourself, when I put this on, am I wearing it or is it wearing me? For example, are your wide leg pants like kind of pulling around your ankle and creating a really sloppy look? Or are they draping beautifully over your shoe? Pay attention to how things fit, how you want them to fit. Do you need to size up? Do you maybe need to size down for that particular piece of clothing? And then just use that as a guide going forward when it comes to adding a new piece of clothing into your wardrobe. Oh my goodness, this was probably the hardest lesson I had to learn. And if I'm being honest, it took me a good 20 years to learn it. In the past, admittedly, it was all about more, more, more. I wanted the most amount of clothing I could get at the cheapest price possible. With me, it's not so much an interest in a label or how much a piece of clothing is. It's more so about investing in brands that have a very high standard of ethics when it comes to the manufacturing of their clothing and most certainly the treatment of their workers. There are pros and cons to this process that I am finding out, the biggest of which is definitely that, for me, coming from a household of normal economics, the acquisition of those more expensive things can be annoyingly slow. It's about simplifying how I approach buying clothing, how I approach the accumulation of something into my wardrobe. It is forcing me to become way more appreciative of what I'm buying, to savor it when I get it, versus in the past when I was just buying, and 5 minutes later, I had no recollection of what I had just bought. And I think that when it comes to developing a timeless wardrobe and a timeless sense of style, we should really enjoy every single minute of it. So speaking of the slow acquisition of things, Nordstrom is having their anniversary sale. I have been looking at the preview, and I gotta tell you, there's some really beautiful investment pieces that are going to be offered at an amazing price. So if you have been in the market for those more elevated pieces that are definitely investments, this might be a great time for you to snag it because you are going to get it at a great deal. So stay tuned for that content. It will be coming over the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments down below, how do you approach your own style? Are you frustrated with your closet, or are you learning to love it because you're making more thoughtful choices? But in any event, thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.